America. Who is here for the first time? Here. You're brand new? Welcome to A Million Cups. Who thinks they've maybe, I don't know, been here 10 times? More than 10. More than 20. 30, 40, 50, 60. 60? Yeah? You think you've been here 60? You deserve a free mug. Everybody, this is Jonathan Putnam. He is the owner of Brick and Mortar Coffee, which supplies our coffee every single week, which is wonderful. So for you, since you're here for the first time, we'll just do a quick run through of what 1 Million Cups is. So every Wednesday morning, we do 2 presentations, 6 to 8 minutes back to back, and then we do 20 minutes of Q&A. So if you have a question, you can raise your hand, and one of the organizers will bring a microphone around to you so that you can stand and ask your question so that the camera picks it up, and you can find these presentations later on our YouTube channel. So it's just a few minutes after, so we won't waste any more time. I'd like to introduce our first presenter, Jeremy Bartley with Think Digital.
Hello. Yeah, I'm on. Okay, good. Oh, he's. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. The extra tug was exactly what I needed. So I'm really happy to be here with you guys this morning, and I want to talk to you a little bit about our company, Think Digital. So we're kind of a different company than what you might have heard about in our space. We're primarily a tech solution type company, but we actually have a special part of our company that is called venture building, what I'll get to in a second. But this is our team. We actually have a team of about 11 people. We have about 3 people that are remote that weren't able to be here for this picture. And we're a little crazy. We're fun, we're energetic, we're young. And I really feel like that's a very big advantage to how we conduct business and how we make a difference in our community. So, venture building. We are a venture building firm. And you're probably like, what in the world is a venture building firm? Well, a venture building firm is really simple. What we do is we help people take their idea all the way from idea to market and build the company for them, and we take equity and or royalties on the business itself. So, give you an example of how this works. Let's say a company comes to us and they have some software they need built for the internal use. Let's use a real estate company, because actually this is a perfect example of this. It's a real estate company, and they have this idea of how to make things more efficient in their company. So, we look at the software, we come in, and we decide, actually, this software they're coming up with is actually solving a problem that actually works for the entire market. And what we'll do is basically come in and say, hey, look, we think this is a great idea, and we'd actually like to turn this into a company. So here's how it works. We give them the full pitch of what it would cost to build the software out, which is a decent amount of software. And then from there, what we do is we say, okay, if we do a venture deal, right, we're going to discount our rates so you get your software for cheaper, right? So who doesn't like getting software for cheaper, right? It's custom software for themselves. But on top of that, how about we actually sell it to your competitors and you make money off of them? And so it creates this really interesting dynamic of, so we basically build the software at a discounted price. We take it all the way from the idea, we build it, we structure out, we create an MVP, we figure out what the real problem is. And that's one of the biggest things as we've been doing this, is figuring out the real problem. So many times software and or business in the tech space don't actually solve a problem. It's some kind of gimmick. So what we do, because that person's come to us with this idea, it's actually fundamentally solving a problem in their industry, and we feel that it's a great idea to move forward with it, right? So in this deal, basically, they get their software for a discounted rate, and we get their expertise, making sure that we're building something that the market needs and wants. From there, as it continues to grow and they're getting the software for a cheaper price, we actually get it to the point where we take it to market. At that point, we sell the product and use it to fund phases. After the MVP, phase 2, 3, 4, and so on. So to a point where it's profitable, and now we split distributions and or royalties, however it's set up. So it creates this win-win scenario where basically along the entire process of this is that they get their product for cheaper, they get to use it, which is awesome. We get paid to actually build it at cost, which is nice. And then as it starts making money, it allows us to fund the next phases of it to where it's truly a lean startup method. And then at a point where it's actually profitable, we all win. And the cool thing is they're making money off their competitors, and we have now another brand, right? So this model we've actually done 7 times. We actually own 7 companies at this point. To give you a kind of idea of what we've accomplished in the last year and a half, we went from 2 of us now to 11. We went from 0 companies to owning 7 companies. By the end of the year, we're going to possibly be at about 9 companies we're going to own. And it creates this win-win scenario because here's the deal. On both sides of this deal, we all have something to lose. If they don't give us the experience and expertise of what it takes to actually make this software work, we're screwed, right? And I probably shouldn't say that, but we are screwed. And then on the flip side, if we don't do our job, they don't get their money back. So we have to, because we've taken this at a discounted rate, make this service work and actually create a profit. And they want to make profit off it, so it creates this win-win scenario, which is great. I call it a win-win-win situation. So it creates this dynamic that's really great. So in that, there's multiple opportunities out of this. So we've seen with this model, and it's taken off because here's the problem, right? People don't have time to build these businesses. If you're a large corporation like that company I was talking about, they don't have time to build a business on the side and they take advantage of this opportunity. And they also have this problem, like they don't want to spend the money it takes to actually develop this software in order this business. So the other flip side of that is we're able, because we are a tech company, a tech solution company, and we are prized to really keep up with where technologists, we love seeing where technology is going, making sure it's the most relevant technology. They get innovative solutions that they maybe never thought of. So as they're presenting this problem, we're able to say, hey, we can actually do this with technology. We can actually take this here or add this piece that actually makes it even more innovative than they ever thought, and take it to where it really, truly makes an impact in their markets. With that, there's the other flip side of this we found too with this company, this model, is that because we have our team of 11 people is comprised of about 4 actual entrepreneurs. Now, if you've been around entrepreneurs, they don't always play nice with each other, right? We actually have 4 very strong entrepreneurs that we all have different focuses. They're all the partners of the company. We are strong and we bounce each other out. And because of that, we're able to basically build pretty much anything from the ground up. Literally, in-house, we do app development, web development, software development, video production, content marketing, digital marketing, marketing automation. I have a list here on the next thing right here. You can go through and see all this. But we literally have everything in-house to build every aspect of the company. So that creates a huge opportunity for other businesses. So the second problem we've solved is, okay, if you're a small business owner, yeah, we have our equity model over here where we can work with people, getting things at a discount rate and building things for them. But we also have the flip side of that, where we have a service side of our company, where we actually work with small business owners. Right now, a typical small business owner is going to go to a web development firm. They're going to go to a software development firm, possibly, or a video production company, or a marketing agency, or all these, and have to have communication between all of them. What Think Digital does is we have all that in-house, and so we're able to basically one shop, one place, create that same idea all the way through and help them. But here's what really is unique about this opportunity we provide as solving this problem. So many business owners, they don't know when they're going to these services what's good, what's not good. For us, I myself have had 15 businesses. Now 7 of those businesses are right now. So before that, I've failed a lot. And I think one of the biggest advantages of working with Think Digital is over the last 10, 11 years of my life, and if we combine the experience, we have over 40 years of experience of building companies, is that we know what doesn't work. And so as we're doing these services for companies, whether it be just a website, we're actually helping them work through structuring the call to action, or actually understanding what the UI or UX or user experience needs to look like for that site. We've done it so many times, it allows us to know, hey, this is what we actually need to do with that. And because we also have experience in so many different markets, that creates this great opportunity for us to really help small business owners. And so in that, basically these companies get one place to go through and connect with, and then we can help them with every aspect of their business. So we have the 2 sides of a business. But here's the thing that's really unique about this venture building model. It's called cross-pollination. So one of our clients is a really successful business coach. Wells Fargo, and she's actually one of Wells Fargo's main business coaches for the entire nation. She can write for Huffington Post anytime she wants. She's a very influential woman. She has a huge audience that she's able to connect with. Well, we have a product over here called Real Estate Garden. It's for real estate agents. It was what I was talking about, what we built. In that, we can actually leverage her connection to promote that and vice versa, and creates this whole synergy of as we grow and get more and more companies underneath our belt, we're able to leverage the connections between them and help grow them. But we also don't just stop there with our business that we own. We actually leverage that with the companies that we do service work for. So if we have a connection, if someone needs a connection to, say, Wells Fargo, now I have a connection route to go through and say, hey, let's connect this small business with these people and leverage those internal connections. Because our entire model is based around us all rising and all creating passive income streams and growing companies. So the second aspect of that is the experience. As we continue to grow our team and add more and more entrepreneurs, and actually every business as it grows and sprouts out, become its own company individually with its own team. Now we create this pool of entrepreneurs that if they don't understand, like Real Estate Garden doesn't understand what to do for their, like say, marketing, they can now reach out to one of our other companies and say, hey, what did you do and how do you handle that? So we can actually leverage experience in that regard too. So it creates this synergy between all the different companies, which is extremely unique in that. So kind of give me an idea. Here's some of the companies that we have now. We have about 3 more that are on here that are still, we're about ready to be launched. To give you an idea, we're also in multiple industries. Right now we have a banking, a credit union, e-statements platform that we're actually now getting into bank development software, as well as the education platform, as well as, what's the other fourth one? Marketing, a marketing platform for newspapers we're actually building out. So we have all these different markets that we're leveraging the experience and the industry insight to help grow all the companies combined. So I'm going really fast because I want to get it all in there. How am I doing on time? Doing all right? I'm done. I'm done. You can ask where we're going.
All right, Jeremy, this is awesome. So we're going to open it up to questions, feedback. If you guys have any questions, raise your hand. We'll bring you a mic. I know for me, personally, this is an interesting business model, and so I'm curious, obviously, of the 7 companies you're going to work with, if you look at the rule of thumb, 1 in 10 startups are successful. So of those 7, how many of them are going to become profitable? I don't know. So I'm curious, how much do you discount this software to where someone wants to partner with you and give up equity in this company? And then what happens when that company doesn't become profitable? Like, how does that work? Do you just balance that out with companies that are profitable, or I'm curious?
So there's 2 sides to that. For one, when we take on, we are very selective of what deals we take on. We turn away deals because we've come to know and recognize what parts and aspects that make a business successful and grow quickly. So we turn a lot of deals away. If we take a deal, we also put ourselves in a position that whatever discounted rate we are, that we are able to cover our costs. So we're not going to go under. Now, granted, Josh will say we've had a couple that have gone a little south, but that's why we have the service side of the business that kind of balances it out. And the kind of the idea of this model, because again, we've in a year and a half we own 7 companies. The goal is once one pops, we dump that money back into the other companies and kind of leverage the cash flow as well as the experience in these other businesses. As we grow, and we say we have one fail, because they do happen, and we understand that because I've had 3 or 4 businesses that have failed in my career, and I'm not ashamed to say that because I've learned a lot of what not to do. If they do, we will take it. We have exit strategies. Anytime you build a business, you have to have an exit strategy. So we have exit strategies in our contracts of how that functionally works, and we inform the person that's investing in our venture partner of the risk up front. Anybody that thinks that there's a foolproof way of building a business out there and not having it succeed, you're an idiot. I mean to say it bluntly, but you are. So we have all that stuff contingency in place. But the idea of this is that we self-fund. At this point in time, basically, our goal is to actually self-fund all of it. We're not even worried about investors. Now, the nice thing about this model too is we can actually take investors on individual products. But Think Digital is the actual parent company. We're not even looking at that direction because we just basically roll everything back into the ventures.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Jeremy, great presentation. I haven't heard of a business like yours actually provide the services that you say. 2 questions is, how is ownership negotiated between you and then the prospect? And then whenever that product is complete, the second question is, how do you sell that for them, or are you responsible for selling it for them?
Yes. So on the equity deal, typically what we try to, as a base, for the actual figuring out that number, it comes to however much we discount. So let's say there's a $100,000 software we're building, and we discount it 40%. Typically, and it's going to sound crazy to you guys, and we don't always do this, it just depends on how involved or not involved the person's going to be in the company. But we try for 40%, right? Now, if they're really involved, we'll discount that down further, and it can go as we have some deals where that could be as low as 5%. We have a range, but it really depends on the aspect of how involved the company is, because if we're in the case what I'm talking about here with the 40%, we do all the work. We literally hire the people, grow the team, market it, sell it, the entire aspect of it. So they're basically getting the cash outlay of owning it and getting the better distribution side, but we're doing all the work. So on the perspective of the second half of the question, say it again. I totally slipped my mind.
Are you
Yes, so it just depends. So we have some deals that are royalty deals that, actually that's one of the bigger pieces we handle. Then we have some stuff that we just build the software, and they're responsible for it just depends on whatever the negotiated deal is. Now we typically, and here's, I say this just because if you've met entrepreneurs who are kind of control freaks, we prefer deals that we kind of do everything, and the reason being is we know what things are going to screw up. Like there's one company, and I won't say the name of it right now, we have, that they have not let us be in charge of the marketing and the sales, and I want to be like, dude, we're actually about ready to take over because they've screwed the pooch on the thing. And because I've been doing this, I've been doing marketing since I started doing this when I was 12 years old. I've been doing graphic design and marketing since I was 12. And so I've been around, I know what works, doesn't work, and what they're doing doesn't work. And so for us, that's that partnership piece of it, that we have to help them make this work because we're not going to get our return on investment, and that's that win-win situation. There's also a lose side of it. If we can't get them to do their job, we can't collect on what we've invested in the company because we're actually investing at a discounted rate. So,
Jeremy, question for you. First, I just need to say thanks for being candid. The quote of the day, we failed so many times, we know how to succeed now. If you're in entrepreneurship, we've all been there before. But here's my big question. It's the Lord of the Rings thing, one company to rule them all.
yeah.
How do you maintain so many different companies? What does that look like, the infrastructure and focus?
So I had this advice given to me a long time about focus. Follow one course and successful. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do one company. I did that, and that's what led into doing these companies. And so there's an idea that now we focus on all these companies. So how do we manage all that? It's similar to what Richard Branson, actually part of the inspiration for me coming up with this idea, and I didn't realize this is actually a thing. This model's been around for about 3 years on the West Coast. Probably the biggest company you can see that's actually kind of done this would be eBay, who spun off Tesla and all these other companies. It's kind of a venture building model. Most people don't know about it. But it's one of those things that Richard Branson did this for forever. He had, at one time, theoretically, when he owned all the companies, had one of the largest companies in the world because he had collectively, I think it was like, I don't know, like 20, 30, 60 companies. I forgot how many it was. It's been a long time since I read the book. But it's this idea that once you get a company to where it's sustainable, we spin it off where it has its own team. So as we grow this, right now, we are extreme, like right now, probably in the next year, we're not even going to be taking but maybe 1 or 2 venture deals all next year, because now we're getting to the point where we're selling all these products to where we can build a team so they can support themselves. So it's a ratio of time, really, what it comes down to, of what we can divide in that. And so as we grow this, every team will have its own team, and we have a percentage of what we look at to make sure we don't violate that.
Who is your perfect customer, Jeremy?
There's 2 perfect customers on this. The first one is the obvious. There's entrepreneurs out there that are serial entrepreneurs that are obviously have made successful investments and they just don't have time. They have businesses they're running and they have these ideas that are sitting there on a shelf that they know are great because they've already proven they can be an entrepreneur. They just need a team of experienced people they can trust to build it, and we're that team that they can partner with, and we can actually help them build that and know that we can talk the same lingo and be on the same page. That's one customer. The second customer is kind of a non-obvious customer, is large corporations. One of the biggest things that's happening right now is these large corporations are trying to find intrapreneurs, right? They're trying to find these people who are going to innovate in their company because they need stuff to be shaken up, and they don't know who to turn to. And literally, that's what we do. We turn technology and we turn these business models and these systems on their head, and we've structured and done all these different things. What we want to see is more bigger companies come to us that need software for internal use that we can actually spin out and do more enterprise software. Because in the world of software, enterprise is a huge, huge revenue stream as far as growing. And so in that, I would say specifically, the two industries of the verticals of that is banking and health is where we actually have spent. We actually have a couple health products we're partnered with, and as well as the credit union space that we're in now too as well.
Jeremy, love your energy, man. It's awesome. So real quick, I know time's running. You mentioned there's, 3 or 4 partners in this?
Yes, 4.
Okay. With this many companies in your model to just do the Richard Branson thing or the Elon Musk thing, I mean, these guys are icons of entrepreneurship. You're kind of like legs on a stool. If one of you bails, like how do you plan on maintaining your visionary goal of each of these businesses being operated and sustainable if one of you bails, or if one of these sells and you make a couple $1 million bucks? Like what's your plan to stick Think Digital into 10, 15, 20 years down if you end up with this many companies?
Yeah. So we had them sign in blood. They thought it was really weird when but it's just one of those things. No, here's the biggest thing about our model, and this is what I've learned in entrepreneurship. It's about more than money. It's about the why. And that why, in and of itself, comes down to what you're about. Our entire team is about mentorship. It's about changing the community. And so I'm not worried about anybody leaving because we have a purpose to change the world. Now, again, some people are like, oh my gosh, that's audacious, or I've been called a lot of things for that. But I can tell you this, that when the crap hits the fan, literally, right, the why is the only thing that takes people through that. So at the end of the day, the reason we're still here, and I'm not to say this model, we've experienced some road bumps. We have experienced some road bumps. I'm not saying we haven't, but it's our passion and our why that keeps us through that. But it's the idea of understanding people and believing in them that really takes us past that. So I have, like my administrative assistant right now, I am teaching them to be a CMO of one of our companies, right? I'm investing in him and taking the time. Our developers, we have just how we find our developers, because if you guys are in the development world, finding developers is extremely tough. We actually take them when they're freshman developers. We have an entire training program we take them through. We grow them. Now, it's painful sometimes. We're like, why don't you know how to do this? And they're like, because I haven't learned it yet. And we're like, okay, we're going to fix that, So the model in this it's a twofold side of things. It's knowing that why, and it's believing to teach in people and invest in them. We have to invest in our people as much as we invest in these businesses. And at the end of the day, this model, it transcends just money for us. I don't know if that answers your question, but.
More of a plug. We've done quite a bit of work with Jeremy in the past, and we'll continue to do. Very professional, very insightful.
Appreciate that.
Been wonderful to work with.
Appreciate that.
Because of time,
Yeah.
Jeremy, you've been here before. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Incredible, insightful. Definitely, if you hadn't had coffee, Jeremy was enough energy for all of us. But we always close with the
I'm
same
allergic
question.
to, by the way.
How can we as a community help you?
So we have 4 things. First of all, here's the one thing about our business model. You have to have money to invest in this, because we have to know you're serious about it. We're not going to be like, we don't want people, oh, I have this great idea for an app that I came up with in my shower, and then we're like, yeah, do you have some money? I mean, this only works with money, and I say that because to be completely honest. So from that perspective, if you know an entrepreneur that has an idea that he's just sitting on, that has a capital push in it, and they want to do something, they're just waiting on it. Actually, January is a great time to start a new business. So, but there's no guarantee that we'll take it. We are very serious about vetting these businesses. The second thing is, if you know someone's looking for services, maybe you have a small business that you're looking for a fresh look or video production. We have a whole entire studio on the backside. We have a 1,500 square foot studio back here. Actually, we're doing a big shoot today that we do every aspect of the service. So if you know if somebody needs services done from a fresh, passionate company. But give us a shout out for coffee. I just like connecting people. Half of our business is revolved on this idea of connecting with other business entrepreneurs and helping leverage everything. We probably work with how many, 5, 6 businesses out of the eFactory, and we're always passing work and working together. I want to get to know you guys. So that's another huge pact. And the last thing for us is, right now for Million Cups audience, and we don't do this very often, but we're doing this. January is a great year to kick off stuff for services, and this is only on our service side. If you have a signed contract before January, we're actually going to do 15% off that as a saying thank you for being a part of this community and being a part of what we do here. Because here's what I can tell you. Right now, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for organizations and things like this, if it wasn't for people like you. It takes a community to build a business, in my opinion. It takes people believing in one another and helping each other to be a successful community. And so that's our way of saying thank you. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Jeremy. We have another awesome company getting ready to come up and present, but first we have some announcements. If you guys, most of you have been here before except for this gentleman here, so you guys probably know we have announcements up here on the board. We have some seminars coming up that are being put on by the SB TDC, Small Business, something. But we've got dates and prices listed up here for that. So Rayana, are you in here? She's not. All right. That's who you contact if you have any questions about that. We can put you in touch with her if you guys do have questions. And then also the Real Estate Investors Group has some announcements up here. If you guys have some relevant announcements and you guys want us to post them on the board, let us know. Just come in a little bit earlier. We can post them up there for you. Email us. We also have some thank yous. I'm not going to read them all off, but you guys notice that we call out some people that help us out a lot here, 1 Million Cups, make this what it is. So we also have a kind of special announcement from a gentleman named Nee Abrahams. He's going to talk a little bit about a thesis project he's been working on. We thought was really cool and insightful. So.
Thanks, guys, so much. I appreciate you helping me. So real quick, my name is Nee Abrahams. I am a communication and content strategist with the National Youth Ministries team at the Assembly's at headquarters. That's a really long title. Anyway, I'm also in full-time graduate work at Missouri State, getting my master's degree in communication. So full-time work and full-time grad school makes for just a bucket of joy in my life. Yay. Graduation in May. All right, so I am really excited just to chat with you guys just for a couple seconds. So for the past 2 years, I've really spent a lot of time doing a deep dive into millennial studies. Something that I'm started to develop a pretty interesting passion for is young adults and young professionals in the community, because that's really where the growth of our community and communities across the country are really happening. And if you know anything about what's going on, cities right now are desperately looking for millennials to work and be a part of their community. 23-year-olds make up the #1 most populous age group in the country right now. So obviously there's just a huge just influx of millennials coming in. And so for the past year, I've been doing some work on understanding millennials, and so that kind of led to my thesis work, which I've been working on for the past semester, and which is I'm essentially asking the question, how have young professionals in Springfield assimilated into the working culture of Springfield? And so by looking at millennial trends, essentially what I want to be able to do is help with the recruitment and retention of young professionals in Springfield, because I think that we're on the verge of something great, and obviously that is indicated here. And so I'm doing 3 different focus groups, and I'm taking them from 3 different young professional organizations within Springfield. This Friday, I'm working with Rotaract, next week the network, and then hopefully, if I get enough people from here, I'm looking to have 5 to 8 millennials, young professionals under the age of 30, which I know that excludes some of you. I apologize, you still look great. Love you all. I'll leave, I'm sorry. But essentially what I'm looking for is just 5 to 8 people under 30 who live and work full-time in Springfield, just to chat about what it is to be a young professional, a young adult in Springfield. It's going to be from 8 to 9, December 18th, and I don't want to waste any of your time, so I'll just be in the back after this whole thing's over. If you just want to chat with me, if you're like, hey, I don't really know, I'm not really sure, I'll have free donuts and coffee and friendship of mine, and I know that is worth your time. So with that being said, thank you so much for letting me speak, Philip. I appreciate it, and I hope to meet some of you guys just right in the back right after this whole thing's over.
All right, so how many of you guys have heard of Sustainable by Nature? All right, they've presented here before. They're back for a refill. They've got a really new, exciting division that they're working on right now that we're going to learn more about from Richie and Rachel.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Think Digital. We are Sustainable by Nature. We exist to help our community members live a more sustainable life through garden care, garden installations, rain catchment, native landscapes, permaculture design, education. And now, we proudly present. It was a really cool picture.
It was a cute picture. Just believe us. So,
Bees. Honeybees. Honeybees.
So, as we said, this is Richie. I'm Rachel. We're married. We have 3 children, and we both have full-time jobs. I'm a nurse over at Jordan Valley, and Richie is a financial analyst for Mercy. But our passion and hobby up until recently has been beekeeping. We've been beekeeping for close to 5 years, and we tried starting our own little business called R&R Bees, and we were offering mentorships. We tried marketing it to all of our friends and setting them up with hives and charging them for lessons and kind of showing in the ropes. But we were really busy with our lives and we're really into beekeeping, but we don't really know a whole lot about marketing and business, and well, it didn't really work out very well, and that is when we met SBN. And they were really interested in all areas of sustainable nature and gardening, and that includes bees.
And I have to give a quick shout out. It was due to Jeffrey here, our bee mentor, that introduced us to Sustainable by Nature, so thank you. So why are bees important? This is this quote that got me interested in beekeeping and fascinated. If the bee disappears from the surface of the earth, man would have no more than 4 years to live. Albert Einstein, you guys may have heard of him. So that got me to thinking and doing research and just built a fascination about all things bees. 85% of plants exist because of bees. A third of the food we eat depends on pollinators. And bees pollinate over 100 types of crops in the U.S., including the food for our cows, like alfalfa and clover. Here's a visual impact of what your grocery store may look like with bees and without bees. Colony collapse disorder. You guys have heard of that. There's a decline in bees. They're dying. It's been in the news. And we want to help change that. We need your help to change that.
So what can you do? You can become beekeepers. Beekeeping is pretty easy. We can show you the ropes, or we can just maintain hives for you. We offer a couple different options under SBN, which we'll talk about in a second.
We are experienced with or without suits. We do beekeeping. And as you can see, the benefits, just one of, is delicious honey. I think that's actually the only time I've worn a suit with beekeeping, was for that picture. And I haven't worn one since. So.
All right, so like I said, SBN is offering 2 different options for beekeeping. We offer sponsorship and mentorship, and we'll go into detail about that.
Sponsorship for commercial customers, essentially for now. SBN will own, place, and maintain hives on site. You guys can buy honey from SBN wholesale, then resell it. And we ask to have one workshop open to the public per year. For example, a restaurant that will host bees, and then open to have a sort of a pairing with dinner, and include the community that are really into the beekeeping. And it's an incentive for businesses to want to have the bees there, because we're going to essentially bring in the community, the close-knit people that want to continue to support that. It's great PR, and it's just a way for businesses to participate with little commitment and minimal cost.
And the second option is mentorship. This is kind of what we tried to do independently, and we're really excited about being able to do this with SBN. It can be residential or commercial, so people who want to keep bees at their house, or businesses who want to own their own hives and learn how to keep the bees. So basically, they would purchase the hives and we would mentor you. It's a 2-year minimum with about 10 visits a year. We kind of show you the ropes and teach you how to maintain the hives yourself. You'll harvest honey, wax, and bees, which can actually be pretty lucrative. We can do optional workshops for businesses that want to participate in a mentorship program. And again, like I said, it can be very lucrative. So bees grow at an exponential rate, so there is a huge opportunity for businesses to profit from owning their own hives. Mentorship is the fastest way to see a return on your investment, and we offer hands-on guidance and training, and we'll help you guys become more independent and able to manage your hives on your own.
So our marketing strategy, our goals for 2016, we'd like to have 10 commercial locations to place bees. For example, coffee shops. We saw brick and mortar post something where the coffee from Costa Rica contains some honey. How great would that be to have your own honey, to say that this is local honey infused into our delicious coffee, grocery stores, restaurants, etc., inside of Springfield. Our plan just for 2016 is to start in these 10 locations and then grow organically through our own splitting of the hives. Every year we need to either give them room to grow or split the bees, and we plan on growing that way. Gain mentorship customers through workshops and community open house events.
So again, just to go a little more in depth into the workshops that we're talking about, let's use, for instance, a local tea room. So this business would have bees. We would pair with them, have an evening where we would sell tickets. It would be dinner and then like a little workshop. And the thing is we're bringing in customers who are going to be interested in community involvement. We're bringing those loyal customers who are going to want to come back again and again to this restaurant, hosting this event. And we're also kind of cross-promoting for SBN, teaching them about bees, maybe giving them a crash course. We talked about it being progressive, so maybe 5 different locations doing a series on beekeeping and then repeating it at some other businesses. So it's kind of how we promote each other, and it's a really symbiotic relationship where everybody wins.
So how can you help? We'd like your feedback today, of course. We want to build more awareness with and through our websites of bees. There's a common misconception that killer bees, and we're afraid of bees, and bees are bad, and we want to, through awareness, change that thought. And connections, networking.
Richie and
our
Rachel, thank
pictures
you so
are
much
on.
for sharing.
Thank you.
To prove that bees are not bad, we're now going to release a hive into this
Okay.
room.
Yeah. Jeff, did you bring the beehive? No.
Release. So here's my first question. There's a chicken ordinance here in town.
Mm-hmm.
So many chickens in town, and now of course you're
6.
asking for businesses to take on the beehives and individuals. Are there any limitations, ordinance, or hoops to jump through to have a beehive in your backyard?
Residentially, yes, and it depends on how many square feet you have. I
It
think
depends on
by
your
default,
lot size.
by default you can have up to 2 hives, 2 colonies, and then based on your lot size, you can have every 500
I think it's
square
one
feet.
for every 5,000 square feet of lot size.
So we had 2,100 feet, and therefore we can have 5 hives,
Mhm.
5 colonies.
Right. And there's, restrictions, like they want you to have fences, but most backyards have fences. And
Basically, if you have your hives by a border, a neighbor, they need some sort of a barrier 4 feet high to kind of get their flight range going up and above and not coming right to you.
with the businesses, though, what we're proposing, hopefully for a lot of them, especially in the downtown area, is rooftop beekeeping.
Rooftop.
Which kind of eliminates a lot of those problems of needing fences and bees being at, people level.
So, first, I own an orchard, so I'm really excited to meet you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Secondly, I come from the world of insurance, so now I have to ask the question, who handles the product liability at these commercial places?
SBN.
SBN.
That's one of the main reasons that we were really excited to join with them, because they're handling all the business aspects, all the legal aspects, all the marketing, and we just get to kind of focus on bees.
Good morning, R&R. My name is
Good morning.
Michael. This is something I've seen on Facebook, so if it's not real, tell me to shut up and sit down, and I'll do that. I've seen these beehives that are built to drain the honey out automatically, so you don't have to spin it and everything. I figured that would save time and money for the customers. Have you thought about doing that? Do you do that? Does it exist?
It does exist. It seems a very revolutionary concept, but at the end of the day, you'll still need to be as experienced, if not more, with regular beekeeping in order to go in there, work the bees. I'd wish it was just you go in there, open the spigot, and the honey comes out, but there's still that maintenance, and in that comes the learning about and experience. And
Honey is just a really small portion of the beekeeping. You also have to maintain the health of the bees, their growth. So there's a lot more involved. You're still going to have to get into it and open it up and work with the bees, but it is a really neat, revolutionary idea.
I guess to add to that, if going into the extraction process of honey, there's a lot of equipment involved, and in that sense, I suppose it can eliminate that. But we would like to get one.
Yeah,
just
we would like to get the
just
experience of using one of those hives, but
just so we can able to give a more solid recommendation as to this is good, this is not. So.
I've got a two-part question.
Okay.
What is the financial startup cost for owning a hive, and how many times have you been stung?
a few, just a few. Actually, a lot less than you'd think. If you're, you take your time when you work the hives and you're gentle and you don't rush and you're not really crazy, you can work hives without getting stung. Maybe once or twice a year.
It's very therapeutic, and as long as you have the patience, it's taught me patience and to take your time, because they can.
Otherwise, ouch.
Yeah, I feel that they can sense that, and if you're moving quickly, then they're going to react to that. They're going to be more defensive, not aggressive. Bees aren't aggressive. They're just defensive. If someone comes into your home and starts messing around, you would react in the same way. But I suppose if a burglar comes in gently and asks permission, then you might be more willing to give him what he wants. So in that sense.
As far as the cost is involved, if you are wanting to do the sponsorship, it's really nominal. It's low. There's not a lot of monetary investment that we're asking for. It's more of kind of utilizing the business to promote ourselves. So in that respect, it can be very affordable and inexpensive for businesses to get involved. If you're interested in doing the mentorship, where you're actually buying the bees, you're buying the equipment, you're buying the hive, and you're learning, so it's basically private lessons for people who are wanting to learn how to beekeep. There is a little bit more cost involved, and we haven't completely worked out all the kinks. We're going back and forth between buying equipment and building our own, so hopefully that will reduce a little bit of the overhead cost. But it's not cheap, but again, the potential is there pretty quickly to have a full return on your investment and start making a profit. But we're talking 10 private lessons each year, so that's 20 for the 2-year minimum that we require. We're talking equipment, and that's for a couple hives, actually. That's not just for one hive. That's
at least 3.
3 hives. So.
But if you go to Nixa Hardware, for example, and purchase the equipment there, then it's going to be, I don't know, for a typical hive, what would you say, Jeff? $500.
$500 each.
Just for the hive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not including the bees, or the lessons.
So it's actually pretty reasonable.
Would you be willing to let students participate? Would you be willing to let students observe your operation for a learning purpose? Because you mentioned
that's
education.
Actually one of the things that we're really excited about starting with SBN. We haven't really started working on that a whole lot, but one of the things that we'd like to do for students or for people who don't have $1,000 to invest into doing this, but they're interested in learning how to keep bees, they're interested in eventually owning their own hives, is having kind of like an apprenticeship where we will take in people. They have hives, they come to a location maybe on our property or something, and they can work a hive, and we'll show them kind of like a class, and maybe work to pay off some of the equipment. We definitely want to be able to reach all diverse people, who either have a lot of money, who are a business, who are individuals, students. So that's in the works.
Yeah, we don't want to limit anyone because they live with mom or they live in an apartment where they can't have a beehive. So I think this would be a really cool and neat way to bring all those people that are interested, and with nominal fees of they'd have to purchase a smoker maybe and read a book, maybe not even get a bee suit. So and in that way, it's anyone and everyone can afford to do it.
You both work at Mercy, right?
I work at Jordan Valley.
Oh,
He works at Mercy.
I was just seeing a big opportunity with hospitals. They have food service. They, they have cafeterias. To me, that seems like it's a huge opportunity.
I like Jordan Valley because they're very forward-thinking, and I'm just waiting to have been there long enough to be able to present the idea. We have a beautiful campus. We have nice flat roofs. So.
Aside from food, and feel free to help me with this, there some hospitals, I forgot which one, were actually using honey for burn
yeah,
patients.
there's medicinal honey now. Manuka honey, they treat abrasions, burns, small wounds with honey. It has antibiotic properties, so it's becoming a little bit more prevalent in healthcare. And I believe that SBN has some ties with a company in town that does.
Mayo Clinic.
No. Who is it, Drake? What are we talking about? No, but I'm talking about the company that SBN is affiliated with, Integrated Health Solutions or something. To be well, that's what it is. So, I mean, the potential is there.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is N.K. Srivastava. First of all, I appreciate your passion for this. You are both full-time jobs, 3 kids, right? Mom? And
6
you get
chickens,
time
1
to do this.
turkey, 3 ducks, 2 Yorkies.
Okay, well,
1
A
cat,
turkey.
a lizard.
We have a
My
lot.
question is about the sponsorship.
Mhm.
Talk about little bit about business aspect of it. How much money somebody has to invest, and what's the return on investment?
Why don't you come up
Yeah.
on the business side?
Okay, so for the sponsorship, it's we kind of share that insurance cost with $10 per hive per month that we charge just to have the hive set up there. So that's how we're taking care of the liabilities of it. We sell the honey to the business if they want to use it at a really a really good wholesale price, like because there's not much transportation that's involved. So like say if a grocery store wanted to have some hives set up on their roof, we could sell it to them in 5-gallon buckets, and then they could dispense it from there, honestly, out of the bucket into jars. For I think Homegrown does that. So that's how we make our money, is off the honey. The bees are ours, so as they split healthily 1 time a year. Is that pretty?
Mm-hmm.
1 time a year, and that's $150 every time. So that we're making our money off the bees. Having them spread out is good for just the fact that if there's colony collapse or something, we have a bunch of different locations, so it's okay, and that's how we manage the risk of that also. Did I answer all that? For the business? Yeah. Okay, so PR is part of it. Having bees from Springfield will be great for local markets to sell because allergy issues, things like that. But when you're selling wholesale honey, the markup for retail is pretty high compared to what we would sell it to the company as. So like the grocery store example, they would make a lot of money off of selling their own hives. And then having the workshops, like they were saying, we would bring the community members who love local to your restaurant and teach them and have like an intimate night with them, and the owners of the restaurant could be there, and just have that like hanging out. And those are customers that write reviews. Those are customers that care about the community, and that we would be bringing once a year to your location.
So the ROI comes from reselling the honey, and you guys are selling the honey to the location where the hives are at a way discounted rate, versus if another grocery store that doesn't have hives wants to order a 5-gallon jug of honey. So that's where the ROI is, as well as the PR play, as well as you guys are going to organize and have events hosted on location at those companies twice a year?
Once or twice. Whatever
the
they want to
company
do.
wants, yeah.
If they want to do it more.
Yeah, and it's not just honey, it's wax, so, places that, sell body products or anything like that could be involved and use the wax in their products. I mean, there's a lot of things that can come out of a hive that can be beneficial to a variety of different companies and
Can you share that real quick, like the top 5? We can all answer honey, right? And then beeswax is probably number 2. What's number 3 through 5?
Bees, and that's one of the best ways if you're doing the mentorship to make your money back, is selling the bees. Bees are expensive. They're a commodity. So there's that. You also have the wax. The wax is harvestable. And again, people make body products out of it, soaps and balms and things like that. Pollen, you'll go to Mama Jean's, you can see jars of pollen. People take it to help with allergies. You can collect that.
We have beekeepers here that actually travel to go and purchase, all of these nukes, packages of bees, just to bring them back here.
To sell them.
To sell them. They're traveling to Georgia, they're traveling
to Florida,
so to get bees, to bring them here. So imagine the opportunity that's there to be able to sell to new beekeepers, to people that want to expand their current beekeeping operation. It's a really cool.
So you've about convinced me to go on the mentorship route. How long does it really take to learn beekeeping? I really know nothing about
So like
beekeeping.
we have it set up to where it's a 2-year mentorship program. I think that's a good amount of time to really become independent. You know, you kind of learn everything in the first year and then probably put it into practice in the second year. We would still be available if you needed help or questions or anything like that. You basically need to see one season through to understand how to care for and take care of the bees. And then, you know, overwintering, you'll need to learn that, and then the second year, you can kind of start putting the theories that you've learned into practice. It's not even per week. It varies how much time you have to invest based on the season. So it's kind of a lot like gardening. The spring, you're really busy, you're planting, you're preparing your gardens. So it's the same with bees. You know, they're growing, they're booming, the nectar flow is on, they're needing a lot of maintenance. In the summertime, when the flowers kind of dry up a little bit, it's kind of just a let it ride time. And then in the fall, you have to deal with the harvest, and that's, you know, a very busy time as well, and then preparing for the winter. So it's kind of sporadic. It's not weekly. You know, probably in the springtime, you could check them every 2 weeks and get in there and work it. And in the summertime, maybe once a month, and then in the fall, just to prepare them for winter and harvest, it picks up again. And then over the winter, then, you know, they're hibernating. So are you.
Starting from a package of bees, you're going to have to dedicate more time to nurture them into becoming a self-sufficient beehive, a well-oiled machine, if you will. And they don't really need us. You know, they're doing fine without us. And so just getting them to that point to where they can do the most or produce the most, that's where you come in.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Couple things. One, thanks for being here. I think it's awesome. Seems like every 6 or 8 weeks I run into somebody who's become a beekeeper, and they're not just retired people, so it is a, if you will, somewhat of a phenomenon, and that's pretty cool. So my question is this. What is the approximate honey yield on a typical investment after you've made your initial investment? What's the honey yield, like gallons or whatever? And then what is your wholesale price versus your retail price?
I'd say for a typical hive, it depends. If we're talking about, you know, a hive can be this or a hive can be this. So average yield per year of 5 gallons of honey a hive.
And it's nature, so it's really hard to.
This year there was a lot of rain, so the bees couldn't go out and forage. Therefore, the honey yield was low.
Well, I mean, it'll fluctuate, but.
Your other question was. Yeah, wholesale versus retail.
That's that guy.
You can sell 5 gallons wholesale for like $250, which is cheap. Retail 4 ounces can sell for $6, so you can see that difference between the retail and the wholesale. We do a 3 hive minimum on our sponsorships because that gives us a profit for being able to sell the honey.
All right, guys, this has been super insightful. Rich, Rachel, thank you so much for presenting. So what is it we can do as a community to help you guys and help SBN in this new endeavor?
We need commercial locations at this point to set up beehives.
And Drake has a binder over there. You can
Mhm.
sign up for our newsletter. We'll be posting blogs, and you'll be finding out hopefully about workshops coming up, and just sign up for the newsletter, come to the workshops, tell your friends, buy some bees.
Facebook, we like to educate. We just have a natural passion to learning more and more and educating people about the good things that bees do. There's every day I learn
Follow
something
us,
new. Yeah.
Share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for presenting, and I just think every week is so exciting. I love coming. It's energizing, and so thank you guys for coming. And come next week, we have an exciting lineup for next week, and then our Chad, who is one of our founding organizers, he'll be saying a word, and it'll be his last day as an official organizer, but we're it's been such a benefit to have him as a part of our team, and he will continue to contribute over time. So thank you guys for coming, and have a great week.
Again next week.